Hey everybody, it is time for Curiosity Challenge, Kaldheim Week 8. I'm Nathaniel, twitch.tv/the_ita with Clausies, twitch.tv/Clausies. We have free weekly 3-match tournaments each Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and you're either watching live on Twitch or Undead on YouTube. But hey, Clausies, what is Curiosity exactly?
Well, Curiosity is the hottest new format in Magic the Gathering. You have 40 card minimum for your deck, and the best part is 2 rare or mythic card max with no duplicates, 2 max of each uncommons, 6 maximum uncommons in total, and as many commons as you want. It's a awesome format, variation from week to week. It is by no means stagnant, and it's a lot of fun to play.
Nice. Well, hey, thanks. What also makes it fun is we do play on Discord. You do get to chat with humans, and we have a community Discord. So if you want to talk about Magic the Gathering or any other thing that you care about, there's always people chatting, always people ready to play. But just by participating in these free weekly challenges, you do earn points. And we are at the end of the season, and we cut to the top 8 to find the crowned cave dweller of the season. Now we're here at week 8 of 8. Now Clausies, who's casting, is in first. And really, actually, most likely, we only have one person who's going to be eligible to break into that, and that's Hileao. Hileao has 8 points. If Hileao wins, has to get the crowned cave dweller of the week, and Edgar Jacobs has to not perform at all and do very poorly for them to switch spots. Everyone else is either in it or not in it. But you know what? We're going to do something a little bit different this week. We're going to follow Hileao on his journey, unless he loses. Then his journey ends, and we just play other match. So, we're going to start off, see where Hilareo's at on game 1 of round 1. All right, we have Hileao on the bottom, and Jerome, aka ProGamingMode, on top. It looks like Hileao is going first.
This is going to be an interesting game. We have a Grixis deck versus a Golgari deck. The Grixis looks like their goal is to kind of, maybe go a little bit mid-rangey, late game, control the elves out. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, we got a Sculptor of Winter, kind of slow starts, but as you can tell in Hilareo's hand, we got some stuff going. And then, Priest of the Haunted Edge coming out for Jerome.
Yeah. Priest it's a card that at the beginning of the format, there was some debate over, and then it sort of died out for a little bit, but recently we've seen a comeback, and I think the comeback is due to people realizing they can play it with Yorn's artifact side to have a removal spell on a creature every single turn, which is pretty broken, but you do need your rare to make that work.
Yeah, you need your rare, and there's some common cards that bring creatures back. But yeah, it looks like Jerome is just gonna keep doing that good foretell thing, but I don't know. He kind of staring down a lot of damage on the other side of the board.
Well, the Elves deck hasn't gotten too big quite yet, and Jerome's deck does run 2 Crush the Weak, so I have a feeling we're going to see one right here, and it's going to be a big blowout, and it'll be hard for the Elves deck to recover. Yep, there it is.
Oof.
Yeah.
And this is not looking so hot. Now, like we mentioned earlier, Hilario needs to go 3-0 to break the top 8, and is the only person playing this week who has a chance of breaking top 8. So I wonder if this is going to be an early good night for everyone. Elven Ambush doesn't seem great. Raise the Draugr, it could help you, except your cards are exiled. I mean, from what I see, this is going to be game number 2. Game 1 going to Jerome up top.
Yeah, what do you think about Crush the Week? I think that it's an odd 2 of for a deck at this point. I think that the Turgid Shadow is a lot more generically better. You know, like it works better in just all decks. So I'm a little bit confused as to why Crush the Week is there, especially without Jarls or anything else to really like combo with it.
Yeah, I can see that. But I do think that maybe Jerome was thinking, hey, a lot of people have kind of walked away from control and are trying to go a little bit more towards, little tiny dudes, big and wide. You know.
Yep, that does make sense. That's more of a meta game read than a ideal deck construction read, I would say.
Oh yeah.
But it definitely is. It paid off there. He was, staring down nearly 10 power worth of elves, and 1 3-mana spell dealt with it all.
And we got this Mistwalker and the Freezing Flame as well. I feel like, and Hilario's going, why did I get 2 damage done to me?
Scamfar is a very good card, and it would have been a phenomenal finisher had his board not been wiped about 3 turns ago.
Yeah, but, this is going to buy him some time. I'm going for the life loss instead of the life gain on your side. I don't know.
I don't think Hileao needs to buy time. I think he needs to add pressure. His deck is very aggro, and aggro decks, when they have to wait out a control deck, tends not to work.
Hey, you are number 1 in the season standings, so I'll listen to you on your thoughts. I'll believe it. I'm just a lowly caster.
Hey, we all know you have some moves up your sleeve.
It's true. I think Jerome's kind of counting his mana, seeing what he can pull off, how much damage he can do right now.
I think he's also trying to assess. Well, it depends what's in his hand, but I think he's trying to assess how much mana he wants to leave open. I would guess that he has some sort of removal or foretell or something else in his hand, and he's just trying to figure out what he wants to do.
Hilario says, I don't want to be stuck looking down your hole. I'm leaving.
I would have liked to see an attack there, because sometimes it tells you what your opponent is thinking when they block and how they play a little bit. Even if you're losing the first game, it's not always best to concede ASAP, because the more information you get can help you out following it. So I would have really liked to see an attack, because that would have required pro gamer Jerome to think about how he's going to block, which might tell Hilario something for the next couple of games. I don't know, just my thought.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Now, Hilario's thinking, what am I going to take out? Now, we can't take out any rares because we don't have any rares in our sideboard. We take out some uncommons for, Poison the Cup, maybe?
What is his other rare? It's a Valkyrie. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. I like how he has his 2 rare set. In aggro decks, I really think that having your sideboard be focused around commons and uncommons is better, and more controlly have it be focused around rares and mythics. Um, so I think his sideboard is built well. I don't exactly know what he's going to bring in. I don't like how he took out Elven Ambush. I think that was a very bad choice because Elven Ambush just wins games sometimes. And in response to maybe a removal spell or something, you ambush on their turn, you have a giant board state, then you can maybe Skemfar on yours and attack in for lethal. There's a lot of options, but I think that's a very versatile, very good, strong card in this matchup, and I think that was a misread to take it out.
I think he's just a little bit afraid of them board wipes that his opponent could present.
Yeah, it he really has 3 to worry about. He has 2 Crush the Weeks in the main board and 1 Turgid Shadow in the sideboard. So if he's prioritizing playing safely around those, he's doing it right. But I think that having 3 uncommons, I think there's a good way to play around it where you put a couple threats out, such as your Sculptor and then a Mentor, and you attack in because that's 6 damage to turn, and you force them to use one of them at least. This attack's important.
Oof.
Interesting.
Not what I was expecting. I thought we're going to hold the Snakeskin Veil up.
Yeah. Because the Crush the Week right here is going to be...
What?
Wow. That he's already trying to... Whoa, okay.
Demon Bolt. See, you could have saved your creature there.
Yeah.
One of your uncommons.
The big thing is those Crush the Weeks. It would have been phenomenal to keep his Veil for his Outrider, because then in the future that pumps up his Mentor, so it would survive a Crush the Week as well. It just is a very large value play right there. He does have removal. He has Raise the Draugr. I don't think he's in a bad spot, but I don't think he's in the spot he wants to be
in. Yeah, but maybe his plan is just to hit base. We've already done 2 attacks with Sculptor or Winter. Your opponent missed a land drop.
That's big. That is big.
You also missed a land drop. But hey, you get free land.
Well, it's one thing missing land drops in an aggro deck with Sculptors out, and it's another thing missing it when you're playing Grixis Control,
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you don't have card draw, card selection. You're just trying to get lucky at that point.
I wonder if we'll see a Snakeskin Veil as a way to kill the opponent's creature.
Yeah, it's a great combat trick. I've won several important games doing that.
But if you're Jerome, yeah. Jerome said, I smell something funky and I don't like it.
So why did he play another Sculptor rather than Elderleaf Mentor?
Maybe just hoping that his opponent's just gonna go use the removal. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking either that or to keep up a Raise the Draugr, but he didn't use the Raise the Draugr, and also there was only 1 elf in his graveyard, so it really wasn't the value he would have wanted. A Valkyrie's great.
Yeah, this very much could be... Huh. Now this I don't like.
That makes sense. Because he can untap a land, put Snakeskin Veil on the other Sculptor.
I just feel like Eradicator Valkyrie is more important.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's the other thing that I was expecting to happen, was that Jerome had a removal spell and then he just lost a creature, he lost a good spell. His Valkyrie is now completely open to removal.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
That feels bad. That's...
you're not having a great start to your day. And like we said, Hilario needs to go 3-0 to make it into the top 8. But you know, hey, there's always next season.
Yeah, well, Hilario also joined fairly recently, if I recall right.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just getting his feet warm. He's learning the format.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good use of. Man, how did I forget the card?
Poison the Cup.
Poison the Cup. Thank you so much. That was a very good use of it.
Okay, we get a priest and another priest, so something's gotta give. Although we still have this raise the Draugr to either get 2 elves back. We have 2 elves we can take back, or just Eradicator Valkyrie, which is probably what you're gonna want. Now you can't. The only issue is you can't play that Eradicator Valkyrie this turn.
I don't know. This is where you win the game or you lose the game. There's a very complicated decision tree right here. You have to figure out what you're going to prioritize. Going wide, getting a flyer.
Oh, he answered it for you. He says, "We're going wide, baby."
Yeah, I like it. I think that this makes Jerome have removal in hand. He either has to use his priests, but then they can't block.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good play. I would like to see him tap both sculptors, play a third one, get it to be a 3/3.
And you know what? He's reading your mind. Like, let's get a 3/3 on this battlefield.
And on Jerome's side, I think he has to keep his priests up right now.
Well, he disagrees.
Interesting.
He doesn't want to see his opponent's creatures getting bigger.
That one made sense. That made sense. I think that wasting other priest on a sculptor was not the smartest idea though. So he played that well.
Well, we see Hilario doesn't really have any good attacks.
No, not at all.
He can't even bluff an attack here.
Yeah.
I feel like next turn, maybe we could see an attack.
Well, if it's not next turn, he's not gonna have a chance. Because Jerome has a Pilfering Hawk, one of my favorite cards in the set. It comes down on turn 2, and basically sets up all your draws. Sets up your hand perfectly for the rest of the game, at the cost of 1 mana a turn. And tapping it, it's a flyer that can tack in, it can block.
But why are we attacking with the flyer? Oh, because we're gonna do Crush the Weak.
Well, he's got to win somehow and then Crush the Weak. Or another Mistwalker just to throw as a blocker. He can let the 1/1 through. Yeah, he's fine. He has blockers for almost all the creatures.
So now we're kind of in top deck Palace, and Woodland Chasm just isn't the Chad that you want.
Yeah.
We have no good attacks, and I don't...
There's nothing better to do at this point, you know.
Are we going to get 1 damage through? We lose 1... Hilario loses 1 creature and gets 1 damage through.
Yeah. Jerome doesn't lose any creatures, though, so the next attack is just going to be worse. Not playing the land is right. There's nothing he has in his deck that will need it, and it basically keeps your opponent thinking. But we do have to note that Jerome does have to figure out how to end the game. There are chances for, you know, Hileao has 4 attackers. He can push through a little bit of damage, but
I like this kind of plays by Jerome, doing just a little, just pecking in some damage, but keeping the defenses way up.
Yeah.
Snakeskin Veil could be our. I don't even think that's gonna be good enough. We have
I don't
4
think so either.
blockers. Yeah, we can get rid of something, but everything else kind of is gonna die. Let's see what happens. Whew.
Yeah. This is Jerome's game to lose. He read the meta very well. That Crush the Weak in game 1 absolutely won him the game. And he has a good sideboard for aggro decks. And that's what we see right here, you know?
And last week was Jerome's first week in Curiosity, so great on him for just really understanding how to take on his opponents.
Yeah, I think we might have a future contender here.
I mean, anything's possible in Strixhaven.
The land of the smart people, the educated.
Oh yeah.
Feed the Serpent.
Feed the Serpent?
Nice
Snakeskin Veil?
3/5 to target. Attack in, see how he blocks. Like, I don't hate this.
I wonder if we'll see a Feed the Serpent pre-combat, though, just to get his opponent to make some bad blocks.
I don't think so.
I think that's definitely the play. That means you attack with your Elderleaf Mentor, and whatever blocks it is gonna die. Because you have Snakeskin Veil up. Maybe your opponent isn't expecting Snakeskin Veil.
So right here, he has to figure out if he wants to kill the Pilfering Hawk or the Priest, and if he wants to have another 2/2 or a 4/3, and it'll be very interesting to see what he does. Huh.
Getting rid of the Priest. I mean, if ProGamingMode Jerome cannot kill this Elderleaf Mentor, it's going to take 1 creature with it each turn.
Well, he can't. He has a Priest on board.
Yeah, I knew that.
And a 3/3. Nah, I think it's close to over. I'm looking at his deck list, and I just don't see anything that he can pull out of it. Erase the Jogger, maybe. He gets to put a couple more creatures on the field. Struggle for Skemfar. He has a fight spell. Bindings don't do much right now.
Feed the Serpent does. And, his Jerome not popping that Priest. I don't know what Jerome's waiting for, because you gotta pop the Priest.
I think the reason he was waiting is he's held that Hileao has held that other land, and it could potentially be another Snakeskin Veil. So if Jerome stacks Priest and targets Elderleaf Mentor and he Snakeskin Veils it, that creates a big problem for himself unless he has another removal spell. So I think that was okay. It depends what's in his hand. That's the big part right here.
Now, a Mistwalker needs a blue to pump. Oh, poison the cup.
2 bottom. Okay.
2 bottom. The good old Mario theme song right there. Bottom, bottom, bottom. Bottom, bottom, bottom. Bottom, bottom, bottom.
Okay. I think Jerome's just looking for the best cards in his deck just to finish the game out at this point, so.
Yeah. It's looking worse and worse for Hilario, Hileao. Each second that goes by.
Yeah, definitely.
And to be that close, to have your opponent at 3 life, oh, here we go, we got the sad emotes.
Right here, I would love a strategic concede from Jerome. Go to game 3.
Uh-huh.
And just just to show how good you are, you know? Sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to keep your, your mental energy, because this is just round one. There are 3 whole rounds. It's gonna be a long day,
That's true. I can say from experience, once you get to round 4, it gets tiring.
Yeah. Luckily this week we don't have enough players to get to a round 4, so
Yeah.
everyone said I'm not getting to the top 8, so why am I gonna play this week? Hilario said it's my choice. And yeah, this is just a really slow, grindy match.
It'll pick right up in a second.
We have to double block. Oh! It seems like the trades never go in Hileao's, his way.
Next turn, I'm pretty sure Jerome will have him dead. He has 2 Mistwalkers he can pump, and he has,
And a land off the top. He says, good night. I'll see you later. Now,
this secures our top 8.
This does secure our top 8. Very, very crazy about that. So everyone that you saw in the beginning is our top 8. But, that doesn't mean that it's over, that our event's over. People signed up. They want to have fun. And, we're going to continue to go on to round 2 in just a second. All right, so we have Naltex on bottom. That is Joey, the reigning Crown Cave Dweller, a.k.a. in 4th place, versus the Mana Sultan on top, who is currently in 6th place. Now, like we said earlier, this is round 2, and they're both going to make top 8, so no stressing here. Right now, it's all about the clout.
Fighting for their seed, if I'm understanding right.
Yeah, fighting for the seeds. It looks like Joey is playing the same deck from last week, with maybe not even changing his sideboard. Joey did win last week, before we all forget that.
Well, he's required to play the same deck. It just is that he might still be playing the same sideboard. We don't know yet. Last week, we saw a great example of how strong Joey's deck is, and I think that this matchup is going to be phenomenal because Sultan also has consistently very good results with his deck that he's been tuning for the entire season. So I have a feeling it's going to be, Godzilla versus King Kong-esque, if you feel what I mean.
Who's King Kong and who's Godzilla?
I don't know. I think one's a lizard and one's a donkey or something.
I know, but do you look at Joey and do you think lizard or do you think donkey? You have to answer this right now, right here. Is Joey a lizard or a donkey?
Wait, is it donkey or is it
no, you said it.
Right?
It's lizard or donkey.
Wait, I think I'm gonna give Joey lizard and Sultan donkey.
Okay. So you heard it here. Now, we were talking and I did not see what was going on. I think I don't think we missed much. Now, there's 2 Craven Hulks and a Dwarven Hammer.
So far, both of them have just established a board state and trying to get their pack mates down, draw cards, etc.
Okay. So, Fearless Liberator not doing anything. Kind of setting us up for next turn, but it's either Mana Sultan's reading the card or figuring out, hey, maybe I'm going to kill this Toroff.
One thing to be noted is last week, Joey realized that Toroff is actually a very bad card. It is not anywhere near as good as he thought it was. It did not do what he thought it did. So I will not be surprised when it gets sideboarded out every single game after round 1.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you make a new deck, even this late in the season, and you read the card wrong or something. But here's the thing: is even though it's I feel like bounding in gold, which most likely was the best option for the Mana Sultan. I feel like that might have been a bad play because it doesn't turn off static abilities, just activated abilities of your card. And so, this Fearless Liberator is still going to proc. See, Joey's reading his card.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great card for Mana Sultan.
Yeah, Joey doesn't... I don't even know if he can attack. He does have this Rune of Speed, so maybe he could...
I think what I would like to see from Joey is I don't think that attack was right. His opponent is gaining 3 life every turn. I would have loved to see a Packmate and then gamble that you're going to draw another card, another land, and then a second Packmate.
Well, we got a 2/2.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I think that we have, we're going to game 2.
I think so as well.
I know I call it too soon all the time, but, this time I'm feeling confident in the lack of ability for Joey to come back.
Joey is a very good player, but I don't think his deck does well when it's on the back foot. I think it's meant to be aggressive, to push the action, to try to get through some of those control decks. And we're not seeing a control deck from Sultan. We're seeing a little bit of everything deck from Sultan. I have such an interest in this deck because it does a little bit of absolutely everything, and I have not actually been able to figure out how it works yet, because it just wins, but I don't know how.
It wins and you don't know how, and since you are number 1 seed, it's something that you take right to heart. Trying to take over, figure out your opponents, get in their minds. Although I think we have 2 folks, maybe even 3 folks who are top 8 who are not playing this week. So, and you kind of took off last week as well. So you're gone 2 weeks in a row, and it's championship season. But
I'm still coming in as the number 1 seed, and I personally think it's very strategic at this point to take 2 weeks off, because I sort of get to just watch the field and make my reads. It's not like I'm going to become a better Magic player after that,
2 weeks.
Playing 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
It just is that I sort of get to sit back and see what other people are doing, how they're playing, what they're thinking, get a sense of what I need to look out for. And I hate to call it early, but Sultan 2-0.
Yeah, it feels like we're giving a little bit of the caster curse. The folks that we watch have trash hands, and this is, you got to put a land back, right? Ooh.
Oh, no. He needed to put that mountain back. He still had a turn 3 Packmate that would draw him, I think, 3 or 4 cards deep into his library by that point, which would definitely produce another land.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's prioritizing a board state for himself than dealing with threats.
Yeah, but in this situation, what are we going to? We're using an uncommon to take out a common. It's awful when you have to go down that low.
I think it's fine. He is efficient use for all of his mana. He forces Sultan to have removal or another creature to play out. He deals with a lifelinker, which the longer they sit around, the more powerful they become, more or less. compared to just any other creature.
That's true.
That is not the creature you wanted to see from Sultan. While it is only a 1/2, it basically prevents Fearless Liberator from attacking for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, but hey, we got our land. We can play Arnie. We have Packmate now. Joey has one card. One card in his hand, and effectively maybe 2.5 cards, however you see it, or 1.5 cards. But his opponent has 5 cards.
Yeah, but I do notice that Sultan is not hitting his land drops, which again, if you don't have lands, you aren't going to be able to do anything. And as you can see by his card sleeves, Sultan is looking to cast an Ulamog to finish. I'm kidding, but
well, Packmate's good for
yeah.
Body on the field. Now a land is probably not what Joey wanted. He really only has one creature he can attack with.
More importantly, Packmate sort of makes sure that Sultan gets to another land sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to colors, Sultan's set. It is interesting to note Sultan does not play Snowlands, so there is a possibility of Snow Hate coming in from the sideboard.
Interesting. You could definitely see that. Now, Clarion Spirit and... Okay. Now we're building a board that's wider and higher. Joey getting a land, probably not what he wanted.
Yeah, I think this is the 2-0 for Sultan. I don't see how Joey comes back.
The Caster Curse, 2-0, 2-0. But, Joey still has some life in him.
Well, since the Caster Curse is real, I am going to request that you cast every single of my opponent's games next week.
Oh.
I'm just saying, might help.
So, yeah, we could definitely do that since it is single elimination. Or double elimination. We just won't cast your games. You'll go down to the bottom bracket, the loser's bracket, and we won't cast you at all throughout the whole tournament, right? That's what you're saying.
I was kind of saying, like, from the beginning, cast my opponent's game every single time, and I should be able to just go, like, 4-0 and win, right?
Oh, you mean, like, we'll follow you, but on the opposite side.
Exactly. Now you're thinking on my level,
Okay.
This is where this real magic, like, winning games comes from, is you have to figure out what jinxes are involved and how to exploit them.
Gotcha. Now,
and
exploiting...
that's our 3rd land in a row for Joey.
Well, it's part of Magic.
Yeah. It's got to be rough.
But, we are maybe a removal spell away from doing something okay.
I don't think so.
We are 2 removal spells away from being okay.
I think we are 4 removal spells, 2 hand disruption, and another bomb away from everything being okay. So if Joey can pull that off the top, he's fine. He's got it. Easy wins. If not, maybe not.
Oof. Yeah. The Chariot is not what you want to see when you're in Joey's shoes. Interesting play there. Now, the Chariot could have been 1 less mana, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
Oh.
Okay. Vorinclex seems nice.
If you tax... I think the best play here for Joey is Vorinclex, attack with it, see what he does. See how much stuff he's willing to throw in front of it.
Here's some big brain thoughts. Swords, even though he doesn't have a voice, he says, Chariot is easy dubs.
Yeah. Chariot it's a strong card, but it's kind of hard. No attack is interesting, and definitely not what he wants to be doing, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, definitely. Oh no.
Yeah.
These bound and golds have just ruined Joey's life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
attacking with the team, make a token. He doesn't kill him this turn. There's always next turn.
yeah.
Both the rares are bound in gold. It is fitting, I guess,
Taking down the Curiosity Champ. Oof. We all love Joey, but he does play this game of, he is the underdog, except he still is the champion.
Okay. It's a rootless you now.
Rootless you, and that is it for round number 2. Joey just not being able to handle everything his opponent had. It's almost like he just couldn't handle it.
That mull to 5 really, I think, lost him the game. Both decks were fairly even. Sultan was a little bit more control-y. And when you don't have the threats, it just lets your opponent build up a good hand.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that I don't we haven't talked about recently is Joey does stream. It's twitch.tv/Naltex_. It's NALTEX. Now, if we had a professional, if we were professional kind of folks, it would just pop up. But deal with it.
Yeah.
So we have one more round left to see who is the crowned cave dweller for this week. At this point in the season, just taking it home, just to say I won the last week. So we'll be here we are, starting round number 3. All right, on the final match of the night, the last cave dweller championship game of the week. Oh god, I messed that up. It's Jerome on the bottom versus Sultan on top. Now this is Jerome's second week playing Curiosity, so yeah, his hand does not look great though.
You don't think it looks good?
I think 2 tap lands, not the greatest. He has a lot he can do, except he needs another black source, or...
I think it all depends on top decking a lands from now on out, more or less.
Yeah.
Here he really does need to foretell poison to get that scry effect in a turn.
Mm-hmm.
Also to reduce its cost from 2 black to single. That's a very important part of that card.
That's probably the most important part right now. Yeah, it looks like Jerome is going to be an up-and-comer to our little Curiosity thing. Now, Chariot. Turn 3 Chariot.
There's good and there's bad to this.
Well,
good is that he has an answer to Chariot. Mm-hmm. This turn, there won't be any more tokens. The bad is there's 2 cat tokens out that you already have to deal with. Crush the Weak does clean up the board. I don't know why he foretold it. Actually, it does make sense, doesn't it? Right? Clean up Chariot this turn on Sultan's attack, or when Sultan crews. Next turn, crush, clear the board completely,
and MoveOn.com. I'm curious to see if he'll even just hold Crush out for a little bit longer, knowing, well, I don't know if he knows, but knowing that Sultan's gonna go wide.
I don't I don't know.
Well,
Oh, that makes Crush harder.
does. But, we have Crush the Weak plus three, or, yeah, three removal spells.
Yeah.
This gives a, oh,
Sultan is man, this is interesting. Normally, I've never seen Sultan do this. Normally, he just crews and attacks. I played against this deck multiple times. We've been in this situation before. Maybe he's concerned about the removal, and I would be too. So that's a very smart, interesting play.
it is a very interesting play. Wants to keep his chariot alive as well as maybe just get more damage in while he can.
But this does leave up a poison the cup on the 3 or not.
Says, I'm okay. I'm going to do things my way.
The poison the cup on the 3/3. Then he could have crushed on his turn. The poison would have scryed him, so he gets to look for whatever he wants. And that prevents a crew unless Sultan has a 4-power creature that he can produce on his turn.
Which is going to be this? Or is it?
Well, if he had cleared the board, that would have not triggered on anything because it's after your draw, so there's no chance to create a creature. There's no chance to crew anything. Yeah.
Ooh, this feels bad. We have a 5/5 that creates a token. Everyone who so we can only do one poison the cup.
I think the play okay, it's not the worst. It does play around Snakeskin Veil. I would have liked to see
That's a weird play.
I would have liked to see the giant out as a blocker. Well, no, because it would have gotten exiled. Okay. I forgot about that.
I think that the squash on bottom, or sorry, the squash and then the land, we need black land, not red lands. Yeah, you have access to squash. Maybe that was the plan. Now we have access to squash for 2 mana.
Yeah, this is just all very.
This is
weird.
fine. I think we saw this before. Bound in Gold, the freezing flame, I don't think is that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. Because he still gets his draw off of it.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this last game. Jerome is at a precariously low life, but remember, he did survive against Hileao when he was at 3 as well. It could be that Jerome always just goes to 3 life and then comes right back. We don't know. We'll see.
I mean, he is 2-0 for the day.
Yeah.
And that, statistically is hard to do.
Interesting binding. That means Sultan is wanting to play aggressive and finish the game out. But with a 1/1, I don't know how quick that's going to happen.
Well, we got a 2-2.
You have a 2/2 now, but Poison will fix that. Jerome gets to scry. Next turn, he could Priest, get a blocker down.
Put in the Veil on bottom. Pulling a card.
Veil? I thought it was... Oh, Shimmerdrift Veil.
Shimmerdrift Veil. And then playing this to counter the legendary rule. Removing the one that's not doing anything. I don't know. I still think, maybe this is just me, we need that extra black. And
I think you have one of the better cards in the format in your hand, and it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't double cast Priests. I think Jerome needs another black to feel good about coming back.
I mean, he's not really in a too terrible of a spot if we're at this point, and his opponent hasn't played any creatures, so nothing's gonna crew the chariot. Um,
Yeah, but if Sultan manages to drop another one of those like war leaders, the Celestial legendary, and then a land after it, he can crew without summoning sickness does not affect the ability to crew,
it's
and
true.
priest can only activate its abilities at
Sorcery speed.
So there would be a potential for Chariot to come in and make another 2/2, really mess things up. So he's still living on the edge.
Living on the edge. But here we go. Down to 3 life. For a while, Jerome is in a good spot. His opponent says,
Wow.
good game. And now we're going on to game number 2.
Wow. That was a close game. Sultan got down one of his stronger cards on turn 3 or turn
3, yeah.
No, it was turn 4. He got down Chariot.
No, he got it on turn 3 because he got the creature that.
But that's a 3 CMC.
Is it?
He played the Chariot and then a land, so it was turn 4 that he got down Chariot. But yeah, and he didn't have the best cards to follow it up. We don't know what was happening on his side of the table, metaphorical, theoretical table, on the screen.
On the screen. We kind of just saw Jerome kind of look at his cards and say, I like these. Not taking anything out of the sideboard.
Hey, he was ready to get his easy 3-0, and that's fine. I've been there before.
That's true. You've been there, done that.
Yeah. Look at me now.
Look at you now. You've retired from gaming, and now you're just a caster.
Professional caster. And looking for sponsors. If you want to sponsor me, hit up Team Cat. Swords will send you some paperwork. We'll have you sign a NDA. We'll have you do some stuff, and then we'll get it going.
Why would you sign an NDA if you want to sponsor someone? Isn't that the exact opposite?
No. It's to make everything seem important.
Oh, gotcha.
Because if you just make them sign NDAs, then they're like, "Wow, this man is serious."
Here's the thing, and maybe it's just me, but Jerome plays in a style that I just hate. He has these tap lands out here, and he could have just done tap land, but I guess saw that this Raven was important. But to me, I just want to get all my tap lands out of the way. And I don't really mind if I'm going to come up from behind.
No, you have to think about this, right? So if he has tap land turn 2 and turn 3, right? He's not getting his Raven down till turn 4, right? Here, it's turn 4. He has his Raven down already on turn 3, and he has 3 mana up for a poison or to foretell a card for a priest, for a demon bolt, whatever. I think he's playing perfectly fine. I think it's with the tap lands, it's weird, and you have to know how to maneuver it. It's not just like shock lands where it's like, all right, well, 2 life and whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was definitely the right opening play. He at the first 2 turns of the game, you're not too worried about what your opponent's doing. So I think it's a bit awkward and a bit weird, and you're right, it can be confusing, but he played it perfectly fine.
So I forgot. So I don't know if it will show up in the YouTube video, but I did just get a subscriber to the channel, Salty Dwarf, and whenever someone subscribes, Swords kind of curses at them. So I wonder if that will show up on the video. But yeah, thank you so much, Salty, for subscribing and supporting Team Cat. And sorry that Swords cursed at you.
Well, I just have to say, I have a call out to make. Salty Dwarf. We haven't seen you much.
I don't think we've
I
seen
know
him.
I'm good at this. I know I'm the best. But come fight me.
Asking for a fight,
you know,
yeah.
You know you want to come and try to beat me. You won't. You know you won't. But come on, be a man and come try. All right.
Okay.
All right. Back to the game.
Nothing's
happened.
Back to the game. Yeah, nothing's really happened. Oh, Salty Dwarf has the playing WoW. Lost him to WoW again. It happens.
Oh, so we've seen some beatdowns on both sides. Jerome's down to 10, Sultan's down to 14. Both of them, I think, have played a couple creatures, killed a couple of their opponent's creatures. Nothing too big of a deal right now.
And Master of Scald coming down, but not getting the value of 5 mana 4/4. Oh, you hate to play it like that.
It's an interesting choice, I guess. Sultan's looking like, hey, he's not doing anything. I better put some pressure on. Here's a 4/4. It's not bad.
I'd be surprised. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We'd see the Master of Scald laying down the law.
It does get a piece of removal out of the board, a blocker out. So, okay, this just says Snakeskin Veil in hand, right?
It says Snakeskin Veil, and I think Jerome was like, yeah, I think that says Snakeskin Veil. I'm not going to block. I'm down to go down. Also, you know, if you're in Jerome's spot, you have 3 pieces of removal. You can actually play 2. Interesting. I'm not quite sure what this means.
You know, I don't know either.
Because I would say removal, kill everything. But that's just me.
That Quakebringer not attacking was very odd to me. Because let's say theoretically that
I'm gonna close my eyes.
Sultan has a pump spell. You just put removal on the stack. You're fine.
What am I seeing? Did Sultan just...
I think we need to call Sultan and make sure he's feeling okay. He's not playing anywhere near like he normally does.
I mean, everyone deserves an off week, but I think he's playing too aggressive, and he's trying to bluff his opponent.
This is game.
Yeah.
He needs a Snakeskin Veil to survive, literally.
Yep, now we're going to see this, which we've seen before. You play this, get your priest. Next turn, you kill your priest.
What? Why? Now, he could have just squashed the lifelinker.
You know, I'm going to say that he
lethal.
got excited. Got his rare. It happens. It happens.
But listen, this is why you don't make those mistakes, because you never know what your opponent has in their hand.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still most likely going to win, but still. Come on.
I want to see a squash. Yeah. Yeah. I want to see a squash. Just to put the final nail in the coffin.
Yep.
Well, there we go. 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. Every match we watched did not go to 3 games. Unless they did, and I forgot.
But there was no caster curse because the person we watched win.
So we have Jerome in the interview. Now, would you like to say this interview is brought to you by Prime pulp paper. Taking the trees you hate and making paper you love. Jerome, this is your second week playing Curiosity.
That's right.
And you won.
Yeah, there we go.
Here's the question
Mm-hmm.
that we kind of saw throughout. You had Crush the Week in your main board. What were you thinking throwing that in there?
Well, here's the thing. I used to stream draft in Twitch, and usually, from like -1 to 3, from 1 CMC to 3 CMC, most of the creatures have like 2 toughness or less.
Mm-hmm.
So Crush the Week is just gonna blow them away most of the time.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what we saw. You had it's interesting because Crush the Week has not been a card that we've seen a lot of.
It's
yep. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess a lot of people are just because it's like a double-sided sword.
Mm-hmm.
It kills your creatures and it kills basically everyone's creature. So a lot of people are like hesitant to use it.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you use it under your under your choice, it's basically a really good card.
Yeah, especially for what? It's 3 mana or 4 mana?
Exactly. And you can foretell.
And you can foretell it.
Exactly. It's much stronger. There's a similar card in back in was it Rise of Zendikar? Yeah, there was a similar card to it, but this one's better because you can just play with 2 lands. So even if you're screwed up, you only need 2 lands to play it.
Yeah, and Clausius, what are your thoughts on what's going on?
How do you feel, man?
I'm just feeling great. I love I love this thing. They should make this a format in Arena.
Well, hey, if we keep going at it, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's we've just been having a real fun time with this format. It's just very relaxed, very chill. And so far a great community. Now, you said you used to stream. Do you still stream or what?
Actually, I'm planning to come back once Strixhaven come out. I had my first child last November.
Okay.
So it's my stream schedule kind of like
you've got some important things.
Exactly.
What is your stream Twitch? What's your Twitch name?
ProGamingMode.
ProGamingMode.
Yeah.
Right on.
All right, I have a question about Crush the Week. Going back to it, because I think that was a pivotal card in your deck and in a lot of matchups.
Yeah, exactly.
And I personally, I put that card in so many sideboards. It is great. Why did you put in the main board? Did you see that people were playing a lot of aggro, and did you sort of have a meta read? Or was it just out of the blue? You were like, why not? Let's throw a main board. And then also, why did you put that card in over Turgid Shadow main board?
Yeah, so here's the thing with Kaldheim, most of the time people win using smaller creatures, unless you're green. So that's when you start using the bigger snakes and stuff like that. But most of the time, to get there, a lot of people need smaller creatures, and most of them are like 2 power and stuff like that. And with 2 mana, you can foretell it and then just cast it for 1. That's a really big swing right there. Tegrid Shadow, usually when I play limited, it's really strong as well. But in this format, I think it's actually it's not that strong. If I have a chance, I'd actually take it out.
Clausius is saying no and giving a thumbs down. He's team Tegrid Shadow.
I personally just think it has a lot more upside. I think that decks have room for both, and when you're playing more control-ish mirrors or mid-range versus control, Turgid Shadow is just a must-have, and I don't know. I personally think it's one of the better cards.
Well, yep.
Hey, next season we'll see what deck building looks like. You versus me, man.
Yeah, and it is the last week of our standard kind of weekly
week.
tournament season. Next week is going to be the top 8, but yeah, Jerome, we're excited to see you come back for Strixhaven.
Definitely.
And we'll definitely have things going there. Now, yeah, thanks for talking with us. Looks like Clausy has one more question.
Hey, absolutely.
So, Strixhaven, 5 houses. Which one are you?
I've always been Simic.
Which I believe is Quandrix?
I've never really memorized the name. Even the traditional color names, I haven't gotten them in my head.
Hey,
I know all the two color ones, but I'm still nowhere near remembering all the 3 color ones.
I know the 5 color one, Warbug.
There you go.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jerome. We'll see you around. We will, even though our season ends, we'll be doing some stuff next weekend. Probably, most likely. I just won't be getting you points, but hey, it's not about the points, it's about the fun.
Definitely, 100%.
All right. Thank you, Jerome.
All right. See you guys around.
Bye-bye. So that is our first time winner, Jerome. Now he, once again, that interview is brought to you by Prime Pulp Paper. They just, they stand by this phrase and this only phrase, taking the trees you hate and making the paper you'll love. Just grade A. Jerome, what a nice person. Now, Clausies, unfortunately, like every week, it's over. The week's over. What are your final thoughts?
I think that this perfectly proves that you can come in without knowing anything, brand new to the format, and do great, And such as like Naltex, listen, Joey, you're awesome. You didn't do so hot, Pick it up, bro.
Wait, what was Joey's final score?
Well, he lost a game.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
He just lost a game. Now, Clausies, I know that you don't usually cast. This is your first week. Our what, not extra. What is it? Our closing thing, right?
No, I don't.
All right. So, anyways, it's just easy. Just follow my lead. Outro. There you go, Swords. So, until next time, we're Curiosity.
Bye-bye.
That was a great A.